definitely been a while since I've done a video in this format, but hi everyone, I really hope that you're doing wonderful today, and welcome to this update video. As you may know, this week has been a little bit rough for me because I've been sick since Saturday, and it was getting better up until Tuesday morning when I woke up. I was thrown all the way back to square one, but thankfully since then, getting the necessary medicine and all, I've been improving. And here I am with an update for today. So let's get straight into what you're most likely watching this video for. Will the Caribbean be at a greater risk for this hurricane season? So we'll talk about that in a moment. But for now, let's look at what is currently happening. So we're looking at the infrared satellites here of the North Atlantic, and there isn't much happening, just the regular frontal systems weakening and moving by. Much not going on in the Caribbean either, although there's a bit of cloud coverage in some areas, which may dump some showers in the northeast for parts of Central America as well. But on a whole, it's nothing really out of the norm for the month of March. And it's also been quite windy across some areas, Jamaica, other parts of the Caribbean, the ABC Islands. So we've got an area of high pressure interacting with an airflow pressure in Colombia, and so because of the difference in pressure between those two systems, we're having some stronger winds in parts of the Caribbean through much of this week. As it relates to rainfall activity, there may be a few showers loitering around, but nothing too crazy, as we're going to be heading through the rest of today and into tomorrow as well. So just a general update on what's going on across the Caribbean. So let's talk hurricane season. You may have been seeing the news from different sources about, La Niña. And La Niña typically favors more development. And in case you're not too familiar with what La Niña is, well, it is the cooling phase of the equatorial Pacific. So over in the Pacific, when sea surface temperatures are cooler than normal, what happens is that allows for less vertical wind shear, which under normal circumstances, a lot of wind shear in the Atlantic basin helps to suppress tropical cyclone activity. So in the case of a La Nina, there is more favorable wind shear to actually allow for development to take place. That, coupled with the fact that the sea surface temperatures are well on their way. Matter of fact, last February was the warmest on record globally. So temperatures have been on their way, and it's only going to get warmer. Matter of fact, in some areas, it's already supportive of seeing development. And a GFS model, for example, has been showing these random low pressure systems just forming and intensifying into tropical cyclones later in March. Not that it is impossible. However, even though the sea surface temperatures are well on their way, there are other factors that contribute to development, such as moisture in the mid and low levels of the atmosphere, as well as the wind shear as well. And usually in the off-season months, which is December through May, that is usually when the wind shear is at its most unfavorable. However, there have been many instances of off-season development, and so it is certainly not impossible for this year. I definitely believe that we will see something, maybe one or two systems before the start of hurricane season on June 1st. And so here we're going to be looking at two models. We've got the CANSIPS and we've got the NMME. Now we're focusing on the precipitation anomaly here. And when we're seeing a lot more of these green and even those blue shadings popping up, it's indicating above average precipitation. As we're going to be heading into May, this is suggesting that we could see a wetter wet season than normal. We could see more rainfall activity in the Caribbean in the month of May. But right through the hurricane season, we see the Caribbean highlighted in this green shading, depicting that we could definitely see more precipitation, which suggests as well that we will definitely have more systems making their way in. But what's the steering mechanism for that? Well, that is the subtropical high pressure system, the Bermuda Azores High. Now, high pressure systems in the northern hemisphere rotate in a clockwise fashion, so that is how they steer these systems to the west, and a stronger high would allow for a more westward track of the tropical waves as they move off the coast of Africa and may encounter conducive conditions to allow for development to take place. So both models, the NMME and the CANCIP, they're both suggesting that we could definitely have more systems making their way into the Caribbean. And that is not even something uncommon to see in La Niña years as well. As I speak about that, let's go on to this graph right here. So on the x-axis, that horizontal line, they're the initials of the various months. For example, we see March, April, May, June, May, June, July, etc., etc. Now, there is the blue bar, the gray bar, and the red bar. The red bar indicates El Nino. Gray bar indicates neutral conditions. Blue bar indicates La Nina. And the higher they go is a higher chance. We have the probabilities on the y-axis. So the higher up we go, the higher the chance of seeing that particular phase at that time of year. So we can see that as we head throughout the next couple of months, especially heading into summer, there is that increased chance of La Nina. Look at just how quickly that blue bar goes up and maintains that height, and the chance or the probability of El Nino going down. And look at just how low it is through the next several months. So that is definitely suggesting that La Nina is most likely going to be happening as we head into summer, and that will definitely favor development, a lot of development to this hurricane season. Now, even though all of this is being said, the Caribbean potentially experiencing more impacts, it doesn't speak to where will be impacted, and that is why everyone in the area should ensure that the necessary preparations are in place in case there are impacts. It doesn't mean that you're going to be impacted. You're in Grenada, you're going to get a hurricane this year. You're in Puerto Rico, you're going to get hit this year. No, that is unknown at this time. But based on what is being shown here, it's likely that somewhere in the Caribbean or multiple places are going to be affected this hurricane season. And so it's not only the Caribbean, but also the Gulf Coast of Mexico, and even persons along the East Coast as well should definitely be making the necessary preparations leading up to the official start of the hurricane season, should in case there are going to be impacts. But as usual, guys, I'm here to keep you updated on all that is happening, and that is pretty much what I wanted to share with you in this update video. So I really do hope you found it to be quite informative, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'll respond when I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.